You are now listening to the Motown Sports Talk podcast. Here's your hosts, Jordan and Dalton.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today is January 26th, 2021. And I know it's been a little while since we uploaded. Me and Dalton have kind of had opposite schedules for a little while now, but we've worked it out to where from now on, every episode will consistently be uploaded on Monday. So be sure to look for new episodes from us on every Monday, unless, of course, there's some breaking news, especially with Stafford going on. But we'll get into that later. If there's something, we might pop up a new breaking episode, but our regular schedule is going to be uploads every Monday now, from now on. So keep a lookout for that. Also, be sure to check out Detroit Lions Talk with Micro Mike, because he puts out a lot of awesome Lions content, and we're going to be actually on his show this Thursday. So again, be sure to check that out as well. I believe it's around 6:30 or 6:45 it's going to be starting Eastern time. All right, and so with that out of the way, let's get into it. We have a lot to talk about. The Lions have made some new hires. They're starting to fill out the coaching staff. Obviously, we still have a few more hires to make, but the main ones are in place. Obviously, I know everyone's already talked about it. We're kind of behind now, but the Lions did hire Dan Campbell as their head coach, and his introductory press conference was one for the record books. People are still talking about it now on TV shows and everything because of some of the things that he said, the quotes that he made, and how long he went on. People mentioned that other opening press conferences for some of the head coaches were like 20, 30, maybe 40 minutes. His went on for over an hour and a half. He was just happy to go on and talk about anything he wanted. So I think it's great to have a type of guy like that. And it's also rumored that the Lions originally wanted Mike Vrabel from the Patriots instead of Matt Patricia, but he obviously ended up going to the Tennessee Titans. So we ended up getting Matt Patricia, and now the Titans are on the rise and the Lions are starting a new rebuild. So they went with that type of high morale, high energy type of coach instead of someone who's just going to be quiet, not saying anything at the podium every week. So I think that is one thing that we can look forward to, because I know I got so tired of Matt Patricia's press conferences because I'd always watch him hoping that he'd say something. It'd always just be check the report. Oh, we need to coach better. Oh, we need to execute better. It's the same shit every single week. He never gave any clues. I think Dan Campbell is just going to be straight up. I think he's going to be like Mike Tomlin. When Mike Tomlin, even when they were winning and they were like, I think 7-0, 8-0, he was still like, we're not that great of a team. We have a lot of things to improve on. Like, he was just straight up and said it. I think that's good. I think Dan Campbell is going to be that type of coach. What are your thoughts on the hire?
I love it. Dan Campbell isn't necessarily the X's and O's guy, but Dan Campbell is a leader, and the players are going to fall in love with him and get behind him, and he's going to be able to lead them and manage them and just be a great coach instead of a dictatorship like we had before.
Yeah, you see it like I just mentioned with Mike Vrabel, and you saw it with Joe Judge. Even though the Giants haven't had much success, you can definitely tell that the players are buying into Joe Judge's system, and he's getting in there. I remember everyone was making a huge deal last year in training camp when he got in and was doing one of the drills with some of the players and stuff like that, because players buy into that type of stuff. Even though I see a lot of national media saying that's just high school and college stuff. These are grown men. They're not going to buy into that. But again, it depends on your team. We have a pretty young team. And then I see, again, before he got hired, I saw a lot of criticism, a lot of people saying they didn't want him. And then when we first announced his hiring, a lot of people were still upset saying, oh, I didn't want Dan Campbell, blah, 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 blah. But then after his first press conference, everyone completely flipped around and was extremely excited for him. I wasn't overly excited when they first announced it. I mean, I was obviously hoping for Robert Saleh, but I guess we'll see how he does with the New York Jets. He was one of my top three. I wanted either him, Arthur Smith, or Dan Campbell. But again, as we've mentioned before, the Lions fans don't always know exactly what's best for the organization. So,
and with how many interviews they did and everything, and like Sheila and Rodwood said, is one of the things they asked GMs when they were interviewing them is like the coaches they would like them to bring in, and Dan Campbell's name was on a majority of the GM's lists.
Yeah, he was going to get a head coaching job somewhere, whether it was with the Lions or somewhere else, but
and I just, honestly, I like the Brad Holmes signing him, and then the Dan Campbell and both of their press conferences. I'm completely blown away, and I'm all in. As some people nowadays say, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be great going from Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia, where they almost, and even Jim Caldwell, but prior to him, where they almost said nothing at press conferences. They were very ho-hum. They just kind of said what they had to say and answer the questions in some kind of roundabout way or beating around the bush. And they never really addressed it. But again, I think both, you could tell Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are very open, very honest, and very transparent with how they answer their questions and everything like that. And I think it's going to be good going forward, especially with the draft coming up and free agency and everything. I think it's going to be awesome to hear what they have to say and stuff like that.
And both of them have ties to the team as
That's another
well.
thing too.
Dan Campbell used to play here. Brad Holmes' uncle used to play here.
And Brad Holmes almost got hired here for his PR, but he did admit that he chose the St. Louis Rams job at the time. He was offered both positions and he went with the Rams, but now it's full circle and now he's took the jobs as the Lions general manager, probably one of the most important jobs you could have. So it's interesting. I'm honestly excited. It sucks again with Stafford. We'll get into that a little bit later in the show because there's so much uncertainty surrounding the team, and maybe that is kind of one of the reasons. I heard rumors that a lot of candidates were kind of leery about coming to Detroit because of the uncertainty around Matthew Stafford, which is totally understandable. You don't want to go to somewhere where you don't really know the future of the quarterback, but obviously that's part of the league and you never know what's going to happen. Look at Deshaun Watson. They just got a new general manager and he's coming into what he thought would be a franchise quarterback who all of a sudden is forcing his way out of the situation. So you never know what's going to happen when you take these positions. Moving on to, we also officially hired our offensive and defensive coordinators, with the defensive coordinator being Aaron Glenn, who is also coming from the Saints as well, coming with Dan Campbell. He was the defensive backs coach down there. Yeah, a lot of people are excited about him. A lot of people are saying he's going to be a great head coach. He's an up-and-coming head coach.
Even Jeff Okuda was super excited about that signing.
Because, yeah, he said he was his high school coach or something like that.
7-on-7, yeah.
Yeah, some type of...
And even ex-Lion Darius Slay came out and said that was a great coach for the Lions to bring in. So...
Exactly. Again, it's awesome. I'm super excited. And then Anthony Lynn, I wasn't hyped about it, but I just am looking at his final results in Los Angeles with Justin Herbert and how that season kind of ended, which, again, I know it's not all on him, and we can admit that some head coaches are better as coordinators. We saw it with Jim Schwartz going back down, and look at even Todd Bowles from the Jets head coach. Now he's the defensive coordinator for the Bucs, and their defense seems to be doing amazing at the best time right now. So again, some head coaches might just be better at being coordinators instead of running their whole team. So hopefully that'll be Anthony Lynn and he can come up with a creative offense.
He's gonna have a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, again, we'll get into that here in a little bit. That they hired Deuce Staley as assistant head coach. He's formerly with the Patriots. He was their assistant head coach, and now he's coming to support Dan Campbell. He's also going to be our running back coach as well. So I think a lot of people are predicting that we're going to run the ball a lot and be a much more run-heavy offense, which, again, in the case that we do have a rookie quarterback, that is very possible that we are become a run-heavy offense because,
I'm sorry, but we have DeAndre Swift.
And two of the best
future star, yeah.
Two of the best offensive linemen in the game, and Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker, and they're completely healthy. So
why not run the ball?
Exactly.
Let Swift work. If we bring back Adrian Peterson, let Adrian Peterson run. Shit, we still have Carry-On. Let Carry-On go. Just run the ball.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's build a running game that then contributes to our passing game.
Wouldn't that be something, though? The year we get rid of Stafford, we finally become a run-heavy offense and start having consistent 100-yard rushers all the time. He would be pissed, but I think that'd just be hilarious.
I absolutely love what they're doing with the coordinators and the front office hirings, which they also did hire.
Yes, we brought in John Dorsey, formerly with the Browns and the Chiefs. He's done some amazing drafting throughout. He's also done some sketchy drafting in his time, but I think he's hit on some really good players. He obviously drafted Myles Garrett, Baker Mayfield,
Tyreek Hill,
Travis Kelce. He was gone the year after they drafted Patrick Mahomes, but people still say that he helped scout him a lot and was very heavily involved in the pick before he left to go be with the Cleveland Browns that year. So he's just kind of a senior executive. I'm not sure if he's an advisor or...
It kind of goes into basically what Sheila, Rod Woods, Brad Holmes all said, that this is all just everyone working together to put the best stuff out on the field. Everyone's going to have a say. Everyone's going to have an input. It's not just going to be one person saying, yep, this guy, boom. I don't care what anyone else thinks, this guy. No, it's going to be hey, I like this guy. How do you guys feel about him? And they all discuss, all decide what is going to happen with the team.
Yeah, and I think it's a great thing to bring in John Dorsey maybe just for a year or two to help Brad Holmes get his legs underneath him, because he is a first-year general manager, and obviously we hired him for a reason because we think he's going to help build our team. But again, he's going to have to help somebody get him his legs under his feet and get those first couple years gone. So again, I'm not sure how long we signed him for, but hopefully it's just for a year or two. And again, it's just to help Brad Holmes get up to where he needs to be and help progress his learning. So far, again, that's it for coaches. We still haven't filled the rest of our coaches. It's yet to be seen if we're just going to bring back and retain some of the wide receivers and position coaches, or if we're still just full going with the whole new coaching staff. And then, yeah, as we've alluded to about 3 or 4 times already, it's been very, very clear, and a lot of people have already talked about it, that Stafford wants out of Detroit. The quarterback for the Lions for the last 12 years. He's led them out of mediocrity in the league up to somewhat competitive. We were very competitive there for a few years, going 11-5, and then 9-7 following years, and now we've just declined since Matt Patricia. And
this is just one thing I have to say. Now, knowing that our last 3 years with Matthew Stafford wasted because of Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia, I hope that as state of Michigan, we never allow Bob Quinn or Matt Patricia to ever step foot in the state again, because they are the worst thing. I honestly can say I think they are the worst thing that has ever happened to the Detroit Lions organization. I'm even putting them worse than Matt Millen.
I think there's a lot of fans that disagree with you, but again, it is hard to say. This team the defense was statistically worse than the 2008 unwinnable team, so it's hard to imagine being worse than that. But anyways, Stafford wants out. Pretty sad. Like you alluded to, he's wasted basically the last 3 years of his career where he was very injury prone. He played through, 4 injuries in the neck.
He had a torn thumb ligament, I think, rib cartilage, and a messed up ankle.
And
this year,
his neck too. He was on the injury report for his neck too at some point. So he played through a bunch of injuries, and it's just crazy to think of all the stuff that he's put on the line, his body on the line for the city, and now he wants out. There is also rumors that Darrell Bevell leaving is playing into his decision to leave the organization. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if I really believe it, because again, I don't think after going through everything that he's gone through in the 12 years that it was Darrell Bevell leaving that finally was the final straw. If it truly is, I do think that it's a possibility that he pushes for a trade to the Jaguars to be with Darrell Bevell again, because I don't know if he just didn't want to learn a new offense or what's going on. But again, if that truly is the reason, I think he could try and push for a trade to the Jags, which obviously they have the picks and players to possibly do it. So we'll see if that ends up happening. If he ends up getting traded to Jacksonville, that'd be pretty crazy seeing him with Urban Meyer and Darrell Bevell.
My thing is, at first when I found out about it, I was mad and I was upset. Probably most of you Lions fans out there. I have been a Stafford fan since day one. Since the day that we drafted him. He has been my favorite player through injuries. I believed in him. Everyone was saying he was made out of glass and he wasn't going to do anything, and I kept rooting for him. I said, just wait, just watch, give him time, and he ended up becoming one of the Lions' greatest, if not the greatest quarterback in Lions history. And it's upsetting to see that he wants out, but then again, I understand. If you guys look, we're going into a rebuild. No matter if they're saying we're going into a retool, it's a rebuild. Stafford understood that, and Stafford knows that with his injuries, he's probably not going to be like a Tom Brady playing until he's 40.
Yeah, he's still early in his 30s. We've seen players like Peyton Manning come back from a serious neck injury where they originally thought that he might not even be able to hold a football again when his neck injury first happened. That's why the Colts ended up releasing him and everything, and then he still ended up going on to go to 2 Super Bowls and win one with the Broncos. So it is possible, but again, we'll see how long he plays out. Obviously, I wish him the best, and in whatever team he goes to, unless it's somewhere in the division or we end up playing him in the NFC regularly.
And that's like, I want Stafford to go to somewhere where he can go and win. Like, if you're a Detroit Tigers fan, that's what the Tigers did with Justin Verlander. We knew we were going into a rebuild, and it was like, okay, like, they asked Verlander gave them the okay to trade him, They traded him to a contender, and he went and won a ring.
Like I said, I think a good team. Obviously, everyone keeps talking about it. Pat McAfee said it almost every single day on his show. But the Colts are probably the most obvious. I mean, they are a built to win now team. You saw it in the playoffs. If they had anybody else other than Phillip Rivers under center, they probably would have gone further in the playoffs than they did. It's just
I
sad.
was gonna say some suitors that I see Matthew Stafford playing with next year is definitely Indy. I see the 49ers. I see New England.
I
And
don't see New England because Matt Patricia's there. You think he wants to go back and play with Matt Patricia?
but Matt Patricia's just a defensive
I know,
assistant.
but do you think? Could you imagine just him wanting to play on a team with him? I don't.
I
think so.
mean, I'm just saying, and it's not really that Stafford's really gonna have a choice on where he goes.
Well, the fact that they mutually agreed, I think he's going to have a say in where he goes. Obviously, he's not going to be able to choose where. Like I said, maybe he can push for something.
I think he goes, I don't want to get traded to a team like the Houston Texans that have no chance of even turning it around anytime soon.
And I don't think the Lions are stupid enough to trade him within the division.
New England has a good defense. They had a lot of players sit out this year or be injured. You put Stafford in there and you go out and possibly sign one of these wide receivers. Maybe go out and sign a Kenny Galladay.
I see the Steelers being an option too if Big Ben decides to retire, because I think that'd be a perfect situation for him as well.
Another place I see saying why not is Miami, because they have 2 first-round picks. They're obviously not set on Tua. They almost made the playoffs this year. I could see Miami saying, you know what? Let's do it. Stafford's got 2 years left on his deal. Let's trade for him. Let's have Tua sit behind Stafford. See what this team can do under Stafford. Let's see if we can go win something with Stafford. Oh, wow, we have to give up one of our first-round picks and future picks. Okay, that's fine. We're expecting to make the playoffs. Like, let's do it.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if Miami is a good. I just don't want him to be again in the North or even in the NFC, because I just don't really want to play him. But we'll see. We'll see where he goes. Obviously I would like to get the most for him as well. I don't want
imagine us switch with the Packers. We get Aaron Rodgers and we give them
Stafford. I don't think he would ever want to come here after playing against us his whole career.
I mean, maybe he sees what we're building and he's excited about it, and he understands that
like it no wide receivers under contract. He doesn't want to. That's why he wants to. Another reasons he wants to leave Green Bay is because they have done nothing to get him any better.
Nothing to get him. He'd be like, all right, I want weapons, and we'll be like, all right, we got you. We'll actually get you weapons. We won't go and draft your replacement.
We'll see. I don't know if I like Aaron Rodgers, even though as good as he is. I don't know. We'll see. There's not even really anything to talk about with the Pistons, so I'm not even going to bother with it. They're terrible. The only thing that's even worth talking about is Jeremiah Grant, but again, it's just not good. We're the worst team in the league by far. So we just won't talk about the Pistons. All right. I guess that'll do it for today. Again, be sure to look out this Thursday, the 28th, for us to be on Lions Talk with Micro Mike. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you again next time.